Hello, Jason Michael Fladman here, CSO and co-founder of Rapid Crush Inc. And on behalf of our CEO, the esteemed Mr. Dolan White, and my co-founding partner and operator extraordinaire, Wilson Matos, we welcome you to this training tonight, How to Crush It on Amazon.com. And if you've been following me for over 3 years, you know we've talked a lot about Amazon, and I'm just going to keep talking about it because I still think in this day and age, from 0 to 7 figures is the best and easiest way to go about it. And what got me really excited to want to do this presentation for you here today was this recent press release that Amazon sent out. So this was a press release that they released July 13th, 2016, and you could actually go to their website, their corporate press release center, and see this yourself. And I could honestly say this guy right here, this Opie-looking dude named Jason Fladman, had a significant impact on Amazon's biggest day ever in the history of Amazon. Believe it or not, Amazon is just old enough to start drinking legally in the United States. You know, in other places it's a little younger, but here in the U.S. it's 21 is the age you can start legally drinking, and Amazon is over 21 years old. Isn't that crazy? If Amazon was a child, it could legally buy its own alcohol at this point in the United States. And out of the 21 years it's been in business, it wasn't last year, it wasn't the year before, it wasn't 6 years ago, it was a couple weeks ago that Amazon had its biggest day ever, which was Prime Day. And this Prime Day beat last Prime Day, hands down. More than 60% worldwide, this outperformed the previous Prime Day. And this is what I really like, and this is a quote in the press release. We want to thank our tens of millions of members around the world, tens of millions of members around the world for making this happen. We hope you had as much fun as we did after yesterday's results. We'll definitely be doing this again. We will definitely be doing this again. When do you suppose they're going to be doing this again? Please chat me up on that one. Please put that into the chat box. When do you think the next Prime Day is going to be? If you're dialed in, then you would know that it will be next year in what month? And that month is, of course, July. And it will probably be on a Tuesday because Amazon's super smart. They know when you launch things, generally the best time is to launch is on a Tuesday. So it'll probably be a Tuesday. So all I got to do is pull out our calendar for next year, 2017. And I'm not an oracle, so I don't know for certain, but it'll probably be July of 2017, either the second or the third Tuesday of that year. And this is funny because this is the single greatest day in Amazon's history. This beats Black Friday. This beats Cyber Monday. This beats, you know, Fladman Thursday. It beats everything, right? And I am going to claim just a little bit of the success for making Amazon Prime Day so big, as you're going to see as we follow along here. Now, Brandon, that was one of the people that does Amazon with us, that we helped get started, and we help with our insights into what we know works best on Amazon. He made a real good go at this year on Prime Day at $118,736.17, not in a month, not in a week, but in a single 24-hour period, a single day, from sun up to sundown on the 12th of July, which is phenomenal. And this is what I really like. Brandon last year, 2015, on Prime Day did $3,095, which is pretty significant. But the second portion of that first paragraph, he says, what a difference a year in a great company makes. Thanks to Ben Cummings, our business partner in Amazon, Jason, that's myself, and Wilson Matos, and the collective members who have helped me make this a reality for me. One fun note, all of our Prime deals were on products which we have patents pending. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So not only is this a short-term windfall of profits, but this also helps him long-term because these are assets and things that he can own and protect. And Regina was another one sharing in. Last Prime Day, I had 0 products on Amazon and made 0 sales. So in less than a year, she goes from 0 to $50,000 in a single day of sales on Amazon. From Australia, I might add, right? I love it when somebody does $50,000 in a day like Regina did, Sarah, and says, I know my numbers pale in comparison, but give me another year. Yeah, Stefan did almost 100,000. Prime Day was awesome. Last year with only 1 product approved was a real disappointment. This year was so much better. So it really does take about 12 months of selling on Amazon to really take advantage of Prime Day. But Prime Day alone, if you want to do 6 figures, and this is about 50% profit margins in general, you can do this on a single day. Literally 3 days of the year, and you could probably make 6 figures on Amazon relatively easily, and those days are Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You could take the rest of the year off, and those 3 days alone would make the whole thing worth it, right? In fact, when it comes to selling on Amazon, my customers often make more money than we do. And I joke it's because we're too busy teaching them how to exploit Amazon for us to have enough time to exploit it ourselves. Now, we sell the shovels, but we also dig, but we're so good at building the best shovels for the gold that that's kind of our niche in that our area. But we do okay as well. So during these big events like this one, like last year during the holiday season, one of our accounts did 6 figures in a single month, and another account did over $250,000 in a single month. That's about $500,000, not a bad deal, in a multi-million-dollar per year Amazon business, most of which was really built in the last 2.5 years. So that puts this into context on the training today, what we're going to discuss and talk about. Why Amazon is still the easiest thing to exploit and manipulate for profit on the internet, in my opinion. I'm going to show you the simplest way to start with your focus on how you can make money on Amazon today, and I'm going to reveal the big secret to why being new, saying, hey, maybe you never have any experience previous to today with Amazon, why being new or having a new product or a new account is actually a tremendous advantage. As crazy as that sounds, there is a bias to new sellers. There is a bias to new products on Amazon. That is a fact. Most importantly, what you're going to walk away from today's training is the 3 key factors that you have to capture to rank on page 1 of Amazon. I'm just going to flat out give them to you. I'm going to reveal the secret, the 80-20, because Amazon is not just a search engine, it is a buyer search engine. It is a search engine where people, if they do not spend money after performing a search, they leave upset. Don't you want to be in an environment where people are upset if they can't spend money with you? That's Amazon as a search engine. And so we want to utilize and take advantage of this search engine. And it just so happens, unlike many of the other search engines out there, namely Google, there's only really 3 factors that we need to focus on. And I'm going to reveal those to you today on what you can do with Amazon.com. Before I do that, I want a question for you. What's your current focus? What is the thing that you're devoting most of your waking time to when it comes to trying to make money online or trying to capture that financial independence that you deserve? Are you a Facebook person, a Shopify person, an SEO person, an affiliate marketer? Did I miss something? Are you something out here? Go ahead and take a few seconds, if you would kindly, please, and type into this chat box. Let me know what's mostly occupying your time, your waking active effort to reverse or to enhance your financial situation. And John says Facebook ads. And Marlene says writing and publishing on Kindle, so that is a form of Amazon. Hamnet says Shopify. Manjit says dreamer. Hey, you know, all realities first start as a dream. Bill's in affiliate marketing. We have another Facebook. We have another Shopify deal here. We have a lot of Amazon people like Randy. Randy, how did you do in July? What were your numbers in July, if you don't mind sharing with us, Randy? Because I know Randy's done some significant sales on Amazon. Jerry says writing and paid public speaking. That's awesome. Marcus is a full-time trader. Excellent. Gajanan says SEO as well. And 45K in July. That's what Claudio, I thought that was Randy. That's what Claudio did. Congratulations, by the way, Claudio. And PJ says Amazon, Shopify, advertising. Randy did about 50K for that month. Good job, Randy. Congratulations. And so some of you are saying Amazon, of course, because you follow me and you know I live, breathe, eat, and sleep this kind of thing. But for those of you not doing Amazon and focusing on things like Facebook and Shopify, SEO, even day trading or just full-time trading, I'm going to show you how Amazon can enhance whatever you're doing. Most business models have to replace whatever you're doing or end up having to be something that you have to fit in addition to what you're doing. Anything you're doing outside of Amazon can be enhanced when you add it to Amazon. So this can make anything you're doing, if you want to use Amazon, make whatever you're doing outside of Amazon more effective and simultaneously make whatever you do in Amazon even more effective. Isn't that wonderful, by the way? Don't you like the fact that what I'm going to share with you, if you follow it, it's going to enhance whatever else you're already focusing on? And that's what I'm trying to do here, at least, is attempt to create a situation for you where you don't have to add to your workload or add to your stress, but you can accent what you're already currently doing. And I think Amazon is the thing to do that. Now, here's why I love Amazon, personally. The first product I ever sold to somebody else was an info product called How to Write an Article in 7 Minutes. And I sold that in 2007. November 12th was the very first sale I ever made, a whopping sum of $4. But hey, man, I was in business. And then ever since that fateful day, I can say professionally I have been helping people make money online since I sold my first course in 2007. And I have been very successful selling information products in terms of not just me personally profiting, but I've created many different success stories with many different approaches to online marketing and money getting from 2007 to 2013. But 2013 came along and everything changed when I got involved with Amazon. And I've helped more people become millionaires on Amazon than all other methods, all other programs, and all other approaches that I've created, that I've sold, and even stuff as an affiliate that I've promoted. You stack all those methods, all those programs, all those systems, all those trainings together, and you add up those success stories combined, and they are less than combined the amount of success stories, 7-figure, first-generation earners that I've had who started with me here on Amazon, which is why I love Amazon so much, and I would love for you to get involved with us because I like making you money. I like it very selfishly. The more money you make, the more money you have to spend with me. The more money you make, the more testimonials I can put into these webinar presentations. The more money I make, the more my brand gets out there, and the better I feel about what I sell. It makes me feel like what I'm doing here is meaningful. Now that's why I love Amazon. This is why I consider Amazon a must for you. Trying to make money online without using Amazon is, in my opinion, like bringing a knife to a gunfight. I don't recommend it. Here's why. Amazon is, of course, bigger than anything else online. In fact, if you added up Apple, Walmart, Staples, Sears, Netflix, Macy's, Office Depot, Home Depot, CDW, and you added them all up and you put them together, they make less in yearly online sales than Amazon alone does. 15 cents of every dollar spent online goes through Amazon. That is significant. That is crazy. That is massive market penetration. Hundreds of millions of customers have credit cards on file on Amazon, all equipped with the ability to one-click purchase. There's no easier way somebody can buy something on the internet than to buy it through Amazon. Amazon just has that down, which is why we love selling products on Amazon, because the easier it is for a customer to push a button and just flat out buy a product, the more money we're going to make, right? Almost half of the U.S. households have an Amazon Prime membership. And I think about where I grew up in a really run-down, very low-class neighborhood. And I go, today half of those households would have an Amazon Prime membership, meaning that anything that they order that's fulfilled by Amazon, right? FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, anything that they order gets 2-day or less free shipping as a perk. This is the highest valued customer you could ever target on the internet. And by selling physical products on Amazon, we can go right after those customers. Mobile is everything online these days. 3 out of 4 smartphone users have the Amazon app installed on their smart device. That is incredible, right? And Amazon is, of course, as mobile friendly as it gets. 70% of Amazon customers last year shopped on a mobile device. And there's no easier place to purchase online than Amazon, and on a mobile device. That's doubly true when it comes to Amazon. Most people, when they see something that they want, they say, ooh, I like that thing. They pull up their Amazon app, they put in the keyword, they do a search, whatever they see that they like, click, they buy. Why Amazon? It was the fastest company ever in the history of business to reach $100 billion in annual sales. Nobody did it faster than Amazon has been able to achieve it. Why Amazon? 44% of all product searches start at Amazon, not at Google. Information searches start at Google. Product searches start at Amazon. Almost 1 out of every 2 of them start at Amazon. Amazon is just way beyond the U.S. It's worldwide. Amazon has 11 online marketplaces worldwide that allows you to sell in them independent of where you personally live. 11 different global marketplaces and 180 different countries that you can sell your products to. Amazon is not just big, it's growing. Isn't that crazy? Imagine a giant. And then imagine discovering that this 12-foot tall or 15-foot tall giant still hasn't hit its growth spurt yet. It's still got a long ways to go. Amazon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Second quarter sales of Amazon were up 31% from second quarter sales last year. That's an insane amount of market penetration. So we think it's like really cool to sell on Amazon today. There's going to come a time in the future where 9 out of 10 sales are going to take place on Amazon, because most people aren't even using Amazon in the world yet. Isn't that incredible? But every single day, more of those who aren't using Amazon are starting to use Amazon. The main contributor for growth of Amazon is people like you and me. It's third-party sellers, most of which have 2 or less people in the business. So it's usually a husband and wife, or just a husband or a wife, or a father and son, or a mother and daughter, or a mother and son, or a father and daughter, or it might even skip a generation. Like we have grandmother and granddaughter selling together, right? Or brother and sister. We've seen that as well. But most of the third-party sellers that sell on Amazon are 2 people or less operators, yet they contribute a significant amount of what takes place on Amazon in terms of overall sales. So you saw earlier a statistic that Amazon grew massively. Even more important was in this recent web conference that they did where they announced some of their growth objectives. And this is what they said: 18 fulfillment centers they're opening in this quarter alone. 18 new fulfillment centers. He says, to put that in perspective, they launched 6 in Q3 of last year. That's crazy. Then he says later on in this call, growth in units handled by Fulfillment by Amazon is much higher than the 28% growth in units sold on Amazon sites during that quarter. A big reason he noted is that products offered by Amazon Marketplace sellers that use FBA become eligible for free shipping to members of Amazon Prime. That's led more merchants to use FBA. And he's right, because there's nowhere else in the world you're going to be able to match the ease and the convenience and the trust factor that it has when it comes to selling products on the internet. So that's the reasons why. And hopefully I've convinced you and compelled you to at least give this a full shot. Not the half shot, not the old college try, but the old full shot here. Now here's the basics. If you're not familiar with Fulfillment by Amazon, indulge me for a few minutes as I go through this to bring us all up to speed. You're going to use Fulfillment by Amazon to sell your products on Amazon. I recommend you start on Amazon.com first, no matter where you're at in the world, and then eventually once you get that down, then you can expand to all 11 global marketplaces. Anyone, anywhere in the world with an internet connection can sell on Amazon.com. So this was a favorite testimonial of mine, one of my favorites I've ever gotten, which I got a few months ago. Basavaraj here says, hi friends, today totally across 10K officially. Now here's what's interesting. 85 days after the first sell, by the way. Now what I like the most is when you read down here, it goes, he's in a conflict zone in Libya on a UN health mission. So here's Basavaraj in Libya with a bank and a company that's established in India, getting his products from somebody in China who sends it directly to Amazon.com in the US, where he sells to people in the United States. What a wonderful time to be alive. You know, it bothers me when people are pessimistic in this day and age, and they say the world is a violent place and all this crazy stuff going on. And it's true that there's some weird stuff going on out there, but I always think, wow, there was no other time in the history of Earth where somebody like Basavaraj can serve on a UN health mission, be in a conflict zone like in Libya, have a business and bank in India, have a product made from somebody in China, and be selling it in the United States. What a wonderful time to be alive. It's stuff like this that just gets me going. Hopefully it gets something going for you as well. Anyone, anywhere in the world can sell with an internet connection. That's the only caveat, right? With FBA, Amazon picks, packs, ships, fulfills, and even does first-level customer support for you. So you will have the ability to have whoever creates your product for you send it directly to Amazon, and then when Amazon buys it, it will then go to the customer. The only thing you ever have to touch is samples, and you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. Obviously, Prime customers get 2-day free shipping on your products since it's fulfilled by Amazon. You get the same benefits if Amazon itself were the one creating and selling the product. Amazon pays you direct to your bank account every 2 weeks like clockwork. I love seeing emails like these. I want you to start seeing emails like these. Would you like an email like this? $78,000 sent to your bank account in 2 weeks or less, right? Why Amazon? It's easier than ever to exploit. Believe it or not. Contrary to the chicken little gurus out there who say the sky is falling, who say you don't want to sell on Amazon, and then they sell you something else against Amazon because they have to, because they can't ignore Amazon. Regardless of what you may think, It is actually easier than it's ever been to exploit. And I don't just pretend that you're going to take my advice on that on the surface of it. I will prove my point to you as we go along today, okay? Now here's the context of how I can make such a claim. This is the process that we have perfected since 2013 to help our customers dominate Amazon. Select, source, list, launch. It's 4 words, okay? It's not a lot to manage, so I want you to write these down and really start to commit these to memory, if you would, please. Can you do that for me? Select, source, list, launch. This has been my Bible of success for Amazon, both in teaching and in doing myself. Selecting the right types of products, sourcing them in the correct manner, listing them in a specific fashion on Amazon to increase immediate exposure, and then launching them in a way that makes your rank go berserk. That is the process, my friend. Wouldn't you agree with me that seems like a straightforward and simple process? It is, isn't it? Select, source, list, launch. SSLL, select, source, list, launch. Select the right product, source the right product, list the right product the right way, and then launch that baby. Selecting it in brief looks like this. Products with high demand, good profit margin, low competition. Demand means 10 to 100 units a day, hands off. So Raul, for example, it doesn't take much to do $24,000 in a single month. And he does a lot more than that now, but I want to put it into perspective to you. $24,017.85 is 643 units, assuming that the month has 30 days. 643 divided by 30 is about 21. 21 units a day. That's peanuts. There are tens of thousands of products in growing that do that day in and day out, and that's not counting slack adjuster days, windfall days like Prime Day, Black Friday, or Cyber Monday. Profit margins, I say, by the way, forget percentages. I like per unit dollars in pocket. I care less about percentages. We don't cash percentages in at the bank. What I care about is if I sell this unit, do I put 10 bucks in my pocket every time that unit is sold? But a lot of people like percentages, so I say anywhere between 35 to 60. Typically, you'll start at about 40, and over time, you'll move to about 50. But as a general rule of thumb, most of my people get 50%. I always say whatever numbers you say, times it by 0.4. And let's just assume 40%. Okay? So profit margin is usually between 35 and 60%. We like products with low competition. We usually value competition as who's on page 1 for the keyword phrase that shouldn't be there. And so, for example, when I took this screenshot, terrarium, which, by the way, I didn't know what it was until I did a little product research. Terrarium, when I looked at this, here's number 4 on all of Amazon.com for a one-word keyword phrase, a very valuable buyer keyword phrase, terrarium. It's not even a phrase, it's just a word, right? The number 4th result is a $30 product with just 8 stars. Or sorry, 8 reviews. Just 8 reviews. This is a good sign of what we refer to as low competition. This means the person who is already on page 1 in a very prominent position either is brand new or they're not really actively focusing on their business on Amazon. Either one's fine with me. Is that okay with you? Would you be okay with the fact that you could be brand new and rank for a one-word keyword phrase on page 1? Or even better, you could neglect your listing and not take care of it and still be making sales day in and day out. That'd be fine with you, wouldn't it? I'm telling you, I see tens every single day of these. 10 or 20 a day I can find that look just like this today. There's more of these today than there's ever have been. Why? Because there's more customers looking for more products on Amazon than there ever have been. Interesting. In addition, so that just gives you a little bit of a brief on how to select the right types of products. Those are the major criteria we look at. The second thing is you need to source the product. A great product without somebody to create it for you doesn't exist, right? You have to have not only a great product, but one that you can make a reality in a short period of time. But then we source, we list it, and we launch it. So let's go over the basics of sourcing. Here's what we're looking for when we source, by the way. This is the criteria that we teach. Easy, quick, and a small initial investment. Easy, quick, small initial investment. And Marlene, by the way, just asked, are all the products made in China? No. I don't care where the product is made. If it's made on the moon and we can make it profitable based on the criteria that I just described, then I would source from the moon, right? And we've had products, I've counted 18 different countries specifically that I know of that clients of mine have sourced products from. But when we talk about sourcing, the major criteria is not where it's from. Is it easy to get? Can we get it quickly? And can we start with a small initial investment? Listen, I've made millions of dollars. I still start with a small initial investment. Jason Fladlin's rule number 1 of Amazon: don't lose money. Making money is easy, but we just don't want to get reckless. So rule number 1 is don't lose money. That's not a sexy headline, by the way, but I always want to pick products where we can start and then grow out a profit. Call me a prude that way. But we're talking about your life, and we're talking about my livelihood here, right? So we want something easy, quick, and for a small initial investment. So here's something that has a current turnaround time of 1 to 3 business days. We could start selling aluminum products, aluminum cans, basically, aluminum containers, aluminum spray bottles. That's the word, right? Less than 20 bucks, 10 pieces, including shipping, less than a week, less than $20. Could get you started. Now, I recommend you start with a little bit more than 10, but here's an example of how the circumstance can always fit the opportunity. And if you're writing stuff down, and I highly recommend you do because it increases your ability to learn, we can always make the circumstance fit the opportunity. So if you say, Jason, I got 20 bucks to get started, what should I do? You'll be selling aluminum spray bottles, or you'll be selling something that you can easily use these aluminum bottles for. Okay? Take something like a yoga mat, for example. You can get started for $3 to $5 a piece with a minimum order quantity of 10 pieces. Or you can even get started for less than that with 1 piece. You could get started with enough units to make this worth your while on Amazon. 200 units, 94 bucks. Even with the most expensive shipping, which is 5 to 10 day delivery, air express shipping, $128.02. You're in business with 200 units for $222.02. I've seen people build 6-figure per month businesses starting with just 200 units or 150 units or 300 units. We can always make the circumstance fit the opportunity, but we want something that's quick, we want something that's easy, and we want something that we can get started with a very small initial order investment. In addition to selecting and sourcing products, we have to list the product on Amazon before we can launch it. So listing looks like this. We want to make your product appeal as powerfully as possible to Amazon's search result algorithm, as well as to the human. So we want to tickle Amazon's computers or its robots, so they put us in very prominent positions, and then when the humans, the customers, visit those prominently positioned listings, the most of them, as many as possible who view it, end up buying from it. So listing the product, we have to appeal to the robots and we have to appeal to the humans. The robots will get us listed very highly and the humans will buy the product from us, right? So we want to start with brand new a product, and in no time flat, less than a month, have several page 1 listings, and sometimes even 1, multiple search phrases where we're number 1 in. Page 1, position 1, and this is very possible and very doable. This is a great question, by the way. Renee asked, people usually make 20% profits on Amazon. How do you people make 50%? Well, because we typically private label products as opposed to be a reseller of products. And so that's the big secret for 50%. We also like to keep overhead lean. So unlike traditional physical product businesses where you would hire lots of employees and have to build a warehouse or have a whole bunch of inventory on hand, that's kind of the secret there. It's really nice to be in this, what we refer to as the new economy, where this can take place. So the point here, though, is we want to be able to list the product in a way that immediately, very shortly, we can claim territory, and we also want to convert. Now, conversion has 2 critical aspects to it. You need to convert very high initially to push you up to page 1. And then once you get in page 1, Amazon's not going to keep you there unless you are still converting at a decent range. So we want to push you on page 1 and keep you on page 1. So typically when you start a conversion push, the cool thing is here is you can control this. It's a whole technique that we've developed. So product launches, and what does this tell Amazon? Day 1, 4%, day 2, 8%, day 3, 13%, day 4, 16, and then 18, then 15, then 25, then 40%, and the number of units go up. So brand new product starts with 6 units and within 2 weeks goes to 59 units a day at a 40% conversion rate. Amazon says, holy smokes, let's put this person right on page 1. That's what they say when they see conversion numbers like this. They audition you on page 1 to see how you hold up. And then once you get to page 1, in the real world, with real customers paying you real prices, full prices, who are just doing searches on Amazon, then we say, do you stick or not? So this is typically what it looks like. Now just to preface here, this is on average an account we have that has 11 products or sometimes 13 in it, depends if we run out of stock or not, which happens. You know, it happens. I want you to have that experience, by the way. Would you be okay with ordering 1,000 units and running out of stock very quickly if it meant every single unit was moved into full price sale? That's called a first world problem, right? But this is what it will typically look like. When you're across an account as opposed to an individual product, and you're getting purely people that are searching for your product and looking and buying, 10 to 20% conversions are normal, depending on your price point. Like we're selling $20, $25 on average items. And the more customers you're getting, the more your conversion is going down. So this means $4,000 days. This means sometimes $50,000 days, $29,000 days, $13,000 days. And this means 1,700 to 2,200 customers per day, day in and day out. Some days you get hit big, like this was a lightning deal. 10,000 sessions, right? Now 1 out of 10 is fine. 10% conversion is more than fine. And that is, of course, an aggregate total across 10 products, some of which are just okay. Some of which are phenomenal, right? But this is what it takes to stick. So we want to manipulate the listing initially to convert like this as we push it up, and then we're going to get it to stick. We can go into deeper details further on how to do this, and we may just do that later this week. In fact, we probably will. In fact, I know we will, and I'll share more about that with you here in a second and how you can attend that for free. But this is just the groundwork for today's training. Because the training today isn't so much about how to select, source, and list, because I could go on and on and on about each and every one of those topics. I really have spent my whole life, of the last 3 years at least of my life, thinking of all the different creative ways, unique ways, powerful ways, simple ways of selecting products. I've thought about all the different and incredibly interesting and powerful and shortcut ways and all the different kind of edge cases and circumstances of how to source the product. Listing, of course, is my specialty. Everybody says, damn, Jason, you're such a good copywriter or salesperson. I say, guilty as charged, right? Listing is really powerful, but none of those are our focus today. Our focus today is launching the product. And a training I'm going to do later this week, which I'll invite you to at the end of this training, we will go into more details into selecting, sourcing, and listing. Mainly today, I want to show you launching. And Russell asked, Russell says, how long should it take to get to page 1? That's a great question. It depends on the product. Low competition products we can put on page 1 usually, and I recommend that you could put them on page 1 usually in just a couple days. You could pretty much list them. If you list them correctly, they'll be on page 1. Ultra high competitive keywords, we don't even care if we get the major keywords on page 1. We're very happy with getting secondary keywords on page 1. So instead of a Bluetooth speaker, something like a portable Bluetooth speaker or a wireless Bluetooth speaker. That's great. That's good enough for a nice 6-figure payday easily, and you can repeat that process per product over and over again. And by the way, at the end of the day, I really don't care where it ranks. I care how many sales it makes hands-off day in and day out. Ranking is just the first step. Once you get past ranking the product when you launch it, there are probably 78 different easy hands-off ways you can continue to make money with your product on Amazon. Our focus today is going to be on launch. Would you like to know the specifics of what it takes once your product goes live to really tip the scales in your favor, to rank just like that, to get exposure just like that, to make sales just like that, to jumpstart in essence? I'm going to use a metaphor for you. Would you imagine your Amazon product is a car with a battery that needs to be jump-started? What happens when you jump-start a battery in a vehicle? It just starts running, doesn't it? But it needs that initial jump-start to the system. This is what we're going to do. We're going to jump-start your Amazon listing so it immediately goes from just a car that's sitting there that can't even move to boom, full speed. Would you like to know exactly how to do that? Okay, good. That's what I'm here for. Select, source, list, and launch. Launch is going to be our major focus today. Let's talk about Amazon ranking secrets. I want you to consider the following scenario. Jane wakes up one morning and she says, I need a new Bluetooth speaker. So she goes to Amazon.com. And she goes Amazon.com, right there in that search box, she types in Bluetooth speaker and she hits search. Okay, you with me so far? Jane's waking up in the morning and says, I need a Bluetooth speaker. She goes right to her phone, her tablet, her desktop computer, whatever. She goes somewhere online, types in Amazon.com, and in the search bar, when she arrives at Amazon.com, she puts in the word Bluetooth speaker. And then what happens when she hits search? Well, what happens is she gets a bunch of results. In fact, with Bluetooth speakers, she'll get 24 results on page 1. For other types of searches, she might get 16 results on page 1, right? That doesn't matter. Here's what matters. She performs the search. She sees the first result. She skips it. She sees the second. That's not for her. She sees the third. She says, no thanks. The fourth one catches her eye. So she clicks on the fourth listing for the search phrase Bluetooth speaker. She scans through the listing. It doesn't tickle her fancy, so she hits the back button on her browser. Or she swipes back to the search results, right? So she skipped the first 3. The fourth one piqued her interest, but it wasn't enough to convert her as a buyer. So she looks at the 5th, 6th, and 7th. She doesn't like those either. She finds you at number 8. She clicks on your listing, likes what she sees, and purchases from you. Does that make sense? By the way, I just want to make sure this is of fundamental importance that you understand this. This is the setup to what I'm about to reveal to you. Jane has performed a Bluetooth speaker search on Amazon. She skipped the first 3. She clicked on the 4th but didn't buy it. She went back, skipped the 5th, 6th, 7th, found you at number 8 and purchased from you. We good? Question. Does Amazon want to make it harder or easier for people to buy something that converts better? Do they want to make it harder for somebody to buy something that they are more likely to buy? The answer is no. Do they want to make it easier for a customer to buy something that they're likely to buy? The answer is yes. Do they want to make it harder or easier for a customer to buy something that the customer is going to be happier with? Do they want to make it harder or easier? And the answer is, of course, they want to make it easier, right? Does Amazon want to make it harder for it to acquire more customers itself as a business? Does Amazon, in other words, does Amazon want less credit cards on file that can one-click purchase, or would they prefer to have more credit cards on file that they can one-click purchase? These are all easy answers, right? Amazon wants to make it easier. Now, if Jane goes and searches for Bluetooth speakers and skips over the first 7 and buys the 8th one, what does that tell Amazon? That tells Amazon that to Jane, your Bluetooth speaker is more relevant than the 7 that are in front of it. And the further that they bury you, the less likely Amazon is going to have a customer, the less likely that the customer is going to convert or want to buy something, and the less likely the customer is going to be satisfied with their shopping experience on Amazon. Now, if one person does this, that doesn't mean much. That's just a teaspoon in the ocean, right? But what about if 10 people do it? What about if 20 people do it? What if 50 people in the span of 2 days all go to Amazon.com, type in Bluetooth speaker, they might click but not buy the 7 results that are in front of you. But they all end up going to that 8th result, which is you, and purchasing from you. What does that tell Amazon? That tells Amazon that you're in the wrong position. That tells Amazon that to all those customers, and customers like those customers, you're more relevant. You convert better, you provide a more satisfactory initial shopping experience, and you're helping Amazon acquire more customers. And as a result, you move up the search engine, my friend. So this is what I like about Amazon. It's a very logical process, isn't it? It's not like Google where we're dealing with soft, fuzzy information. This is a very clear and easy to measure relevancy here for something or not. Now, before I move forward, I just want to make sure if this is making sense to you, or if you at least get this at the conceptual level, please say yes. in the chat box, because this is very critical. This is kindergarten stuff, by the way. This is the setup to the big reveal, but unless you get this, I will leave you behind. And I'm not in the business of leaving you behind. I'm in the business of picking you up and carrying you on my back if I have to, but I ain't going to leave you behind. Okay, good. We got it, right? This is super important, this concept. With that in mind, here are the 3 factors that you need to know if you want to get immediate presence, immediate exposure, immediate buyers, one-click purchasing from you on Amazon. 3 things: keywords, sales, conversions. So just like I wanted you to memorize the 4-step process for dominating Amazon with private labeled physical products, which is what, by the way? Select, source, list, launch. Yeah? These are the 3 factors. I'd also love for you to memorize these. These will serve you very well, my friend. Keywords, sales, and conversions. I'm going to break each of these factors down for you. Keywords. There are only 3 places that you have to really focus on to get a majority of your keyword result in terms of Amazon utilizing your keywords and saying, well, we should rank you for this, we should put you up here, we should expose you over here, just based on these 3 areas that you focus on for keyword optimization. There are other areas where you can get minor improvements, and there's some little cool tricks to get immediate search with keywords, but long term, these are the 3 areas that matter the most when it comes to keywords. The title, or what they call the product name in Amazon, the search terms, which are only visible to you and to nobody else, and the key product features, aka the bullet points. Title is relatively obvious, although if you do an audit on a whole bunch of different Amazon listings, it still surprises me how few people optimize the title. So this is a title that I wrote. In the 200-character limit that Amazon places on most titles, I have snuck in 27 different unique keywords. In my research, I find the average seller on Amazon puts only 4 to 5 actual, real, relevant keywords in their title. So we just win by quadrupling that number. So there's a saying that I've lived by when it comes to winning on Amazon. Here's the saying: I'll do everything that you do, and then I'll do what you don't do. What is the result? If I do everything you do as a seller, and then I do the things you don't do, what happens? I win. I want you to win. Do you want to win? Do everything that they do and then do the things that they don't do, or they can't do, or don't know that they should do. And what happens? You, in short order, win. Search terms. This is so funny to me, and I see this very often because I work hands-on with lots of different first-generation 7-figure Amazon sellers. In October of last year, I believe it was, it can't be that long, it's been less than 10 months. But 10 months is a long time. Amazon updated their search terms limits. They used to say, hey, you can only put 50 characters in a search field. So, 5 characters, or 5 search fields, 50 characters each, 5 times 50, that's 250 characters. So in the past, we had a full 250 characters to work with when it came to optimizing our Amazon listing, where Amazon basically, this is what search terms are. Amazon says, what would you like us to rank you for? We'll take it under consideration. And we would put 250 characters worth of keywords that we would like them to rank us for. Then Amazon, not too long ago, removed the 50-character limit, and they said, okay, here's 1,000 characters. Now you have up to 5,000 characters. Would you believe most of the people that I talk to and that I actually get to see the back offices of their Amazon listings because they open them up for me because I help them optimize it? I would say less than 50% of the most smartest Amazon sellers that I know of have updated their search terms fields from 50 characters to 1,000. That neglect is your opportunity. Simple as that. You say, Jason, how do I get 5,000 characters? Well, that's a whole other topic for another day. But I'll tell you, it's worth whatever you have to do to get those 5,000 characters and cram them in. And don't do it the way that Amazon tells you to do it. This is Amazon's example, electric. So people think one word per field. No, 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 no. The words don't even have to be in order. Just put as many different relevant keywords that you think of. And because this is private and only you can see it, there's additional keywords we put in our listings that we wouldn't want our competition or the customer to see but make additional sales. But just by the fact that you're typing in extra characters that most people will not type in, you will get extra sales that other people will not get. And that is a fact. Now this is the bullet points, or what we call the key product features. That's technically what Amazon refers to them. I show you this, by the way, because there's a whole training that I do on conversion optimization of your listing. And since 70% of people shop on a mobile device and 3 out of 4 smartphones have this app installed, I always check my listing against the app. A lot of people, for example, don't know the 4th and 5th bullet points are not displayed on a mobile device. So what do you think we do with the 4th and 5th bullet point? Short answer is we go to town on that thing with keywords. But just know that not only does this impact how a customer may think and feel and determine whether they do or do not want to buy from you, but more importantly to me, this affects the exposure and the additional extra free sales you get on Amazon by putting keywords in these bullets. Now there are some keywords that you can just stick into your Amazon listing and you will make sales from it. That is no bull. That is 100% factual, right? But there's other ones where you say to Amazon, we'd like these keywords, and Amazon says, okay, I'll take it under consideration, but you have to influence your exposure beyond just typing in the keywords into the listings, right? And we do this with sales and conversion. So we're going to break down and talk about sales and conversion. But from a keyword perspective, wouldn't you agree with me that it's relatively easy to know where you have to go to really, and that's the, you have to have those keywords in there. You will not make sales if you don't put those keywords in there. But isn't it nice to know that there's only really 3 areas we have to focus on? Now there's a lot we can do within those 3 areas that 99% of Amazon sellers do not do or don't know they should do or can't do because they don't have some of the resources that we have or some of the secrets that we know, right? But it's very simple. If we focus on those keywords, we cover a lot of ground. The 1-2 punch to this is keywords plus sales. The 1-2-3 punch is, of course, keyword, sales, and conversion. We need these 3 to work together. So let's talk about sales. Now, sales is where this gets very interesting. On one hand, a layperson might just think the more a product sells, the higher it's going to rank in Amazon. But that's not true. You know that there are a lot more factors to it than just that, don't you? Than just, hey, whoever sells more ranks higher. That's not true at all. There are a lot of different factors. Now, sales is important to how we interpret sales or how we know Amazon interprets sales so we can make decisions on that. That's what separates the men from the boys. That's what separates the women from the girls, right? When it comes to sales, there's orders, sales velocity, and path. Order, sales velocity, and path. These are the 3 factors of the sales equation on the Amazon ranking. When it comes to orders, order quantity specifically is something that Amazon takes into consideration. Now, historical and hourly sales can affect search results, but they don't affect them as much as you'd think. To understand this, you have to understand bestseller rank. So in the help and customer service file that Amazon provides to all sellers, it very clearly says this. Amazon bestsellers calculation is based on Amazon.com sales and is updated hourly to reflect recent and historical sales of every item sold on Amazon. The most important thing about this is we can tell by looking at every listing on Amazon what its most recent sales were, which are typically in the last hour. Amazon places a massive emphasis on recency of the sale, not the historical sale, the recency of it. Historics play about 10% in the rank equation, and recency plays about 90%. So as long as you can very quickly push sales. Now here's what I really love. You're a brand new seller. You're a brand new seller. Day number 1, you go out there and immediately start selling a lot of units. Guess what happens? Your historical and your recent, they're both insanely good. Amazon says, well, you have a nice rate going on here. because you don't have any previous track record. This is one of the reasons, it's not the only reason, but this is a reason why new products have an advantage over old products when it comes to selling on Amazon. There are more. We'll talk more about more if we have a little bit more time here at the end. But here's what's important to know. Since Amazon publishes bestseller rank, it leaves very little interpretation on what is and isn't selling. So you said to me, Jason, I need to make this amount of money on Amazon. I say, okay, great. You want to buy products, or sorry, you want to sell products between this BSR and that BSR. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as a math equation, a parameter, right? It's a key component in how we select products. We built a whole system called the bestseller matrix, where we're consistently going out there and analyzing 20 million different Amazon pages at any given time and indexing them into a database. So in any of these top-level categories here, we can like laser cut precision say, I want a product that ranks between this and that to consider selling. That's how I found terrariums. Like, what do I know about terrariums? Well, I know that if I plug in a rank in lawn or patio lawn and garden, and I say between this and this because I want to sell X number of units per day, and I can correlate that to bestseller rank, right? There you go. It's as simple as that. But what else is really nice about this is it can help us in ranking. So if we can, in a short period of time, influence our bestseller rank by moving a lot of units in a short period of time, and Amazon updates that data every hour, this really begins to stack the deck in our favor. With orders, the more orders you have and the quicker you do them in terms of rate, this will help you rank. Because the more orders you have, the more data it gives Amazon. The more Amazon can consider the data, the more exposure you will get. Does that make sense? Amazon is trying to predict what a customer wants to buy before a customer even knows they want to buy. And all else being equal, the person that feeds Amazon more information, the more likely Amazon is going to send the sell their way. So we are in the data-giving business. We want to send signals to Amazon, as many of them as possible, as quickly as we possibly can. However, besides order quantity, there is a factor related to sales that Amazon cares a lot more about. And if you said to me, Jason, if there was only one thing I needed to know about ranking my product on Amazon to get all those sales, like all those testimonials you showed earlier, and the thousands of testimonials you did not show, right? You say, Jason, if there was only one single possible thing I would need to know that is more important than anything else when it comes to ranking and creating six-figure per month passive income streams on Amazon. You say, Jason, what would that one thing be? All right, pull up your chairs, inch closer, lean in, listen very closely. I'm about ready to reveal that to you now. The next thing I'm about to show you on the next slide is the most important, singular, most important aspect that it comes to your success on Amazon. It's two words: sales velocity. I almost named my son Max Fladlin. Instead of naming him Max, I almost named him Sales Velocity. True story, right? I was like, I love this concept so much, I'm going to name my kid after it. Sales Velocity. But Sales Velocity Fladlin didn't quite have the ring, so we went with Maximus instead. Sales Velocity. Not sales, sales velocity is the critical, most important factor it comes to being successful on Amazon. It was true in 2013, it was true in 2014, it was true in 2015, it's true in 2016. It's going to be true in 2017. Now, what is sales velocity? Let's define this. Here's the definition of sales velocity: the number of orders for a product over a specific period of time. Wow. Okay, big deal, right? The shorter the period of time and the more the order, the better. So if somebody has been selling 5,000 units a day for the last 5 years, they have a flat line velocity. Their velocity has not increased. Their sales velocity has not increased. It's flat. Because even though they've been selling 5,000 units a day for the last 5 years, their velocity is flattened. Now you come in and you go from selling 5 units on day 1 to 50 units on day 2 to 100 units on day 3. What does your sales velocity look like? From a momentum perspective, from a rate increase perspective. It's through the moon. And that's why, as a brand new pup You can do extremely well on Amazon because you can very easily manipulate sales velocity. I bet you're already thinking about different ways. You're like, how could I manipulate sales velocity on my brand new products to where I can send a lot of data in a short period of time, a lot of orders in a very short period of time? Okay, well, pay careful attention because it gets even better. Before I break in on how it gets better, let's make a distinction here. It's very important that we distinguish this because sometimes people forget this. Actually, almost everybody forgets this, right? Amazon is extremely intelligent in some ways. I mean, you obviously have to be superb at something. If you're the #1 e-commerce seller in the world, if you're the first company to go to $100 billion in annual sales, if you're a company that has 15 cents of every dollar spent online spent with you, right? 1 out of every 2 households of Prime in the U.S., Amazon is incredibly intelligent in some ways. Fulfillment, they're the best. Product selection, there's no one better on the internet. Conversion, they make your listing convert for you just by being under the brand. Plus, when you add in our strategy, it's even better. But even if you don't, you can sell products very easily on Amazon. Their operations are second to none. But this doesn't mean that Amazon is an all-knowing sentient being who operates perfectly at perfect capacity. And all my existing FBA sellers, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Sometimes they lose your inventory, which is great, by the way. If they lose your inventory, they reimburse you the full price of what that would be if you sold it on Amazon, right? Sometimes they do some incredibly stupid stuff, and you say, how is Amazon this big again? So Amazon is incredibly intelligent in some ways, but Amazon is ridiculous simplistic in other ways. For example, they have an overemphasis on sales velocity. My guess is this. When somebody was sitting down one day to program the Amazon algorithm, they determined with a set of rules what is and isn't relevant. And for whatever reason, that person says sales velocity is relevant, super relevant, and it's been that way ever since. Now, I would say that Amazon loves this, that this is actually Amazon's intent, because they don't care about a profit, because 20 years Amazon ran without a profit, right? They care about a customer. They don't make the sale to get to make a profit. They make a sale to get a customer, and they will take a sale at a loss to get a customer, right? So I think this is why they overemphasize sales velocity. All I know is for how incredibly complex and powerful Amazon is, they are ridiculously, absolutely, rudimentarily simple when it comes to their algorithm to rank your products on Amazon. And the obvious result is you rank it on page 1, you make 6 figures pretty much. That's the pretty simple view of it. So for whatever reason, Amazon has an overemphasis on sales velocity, but it gets better. So not only is sales velocity the number of orders for a product over a specific period of time, aka, or for example, Bluetooth speaker. So for example, if your Bluetooth speaker that you sold produced 100 units in sales over the last 7 days, that is a type of velocity, right? It's a type of velocity. It's a pretty good velocity, actually. Now, if it was 100 units in 4 days, it's a better velocity. But this is just an example of a type of velocity. Now, let's peel it back a little bit further and look at the inner workings of sales velocity. This is where it gets even better. Path makes a difference. In other words, where and how your sale is generated can dramatically influence how well you do on Amazon. So for example, when Jane searches for Bluetooth speaker and clicks on your listing and buys it from you, from the search result, that is a specific conversion path. And that is a unique and different conversion path than Joe, who goes to Amazon.com and searches for wireless portable speaker, clicks on your listing, and buys it from you. That is also a specific conversion path. Now, just so we're clear here before I move forward, is this making sense to you? If so, please type in yes in the chat box if this makes total sense to you. Or at least intellectually you understand this. It's simpler in practice when you actually do it than explaining. Explaining is a lot harder. But I just want to make sure we're getting the concept here. Sales velocity is important The path on how the cell was generated, the conversion path, is important, and they're unique and tracked specifically and individually. And there's one type of path that matters more than any other type of path. Search found by. I was the first person to ever actually coin that phrase. So if you hear anybody else mention it, they either got it directly from me or somebody who got it from me was who they got it from, right? So this is really the big innovation that we figured out. Search, find, buy. So if you want to be on page 1 for a search term like Bluetooth speaker, the higher your sales velocity and the more specifically related to the conversion path of somebody searching for Bluetooth speaker, finding your listing, and buying from you. So not only do we want high velocity, high sales velocity, we want high sales velocity related to the specific path of searching on Amazon for that phrase, finding you through that phrase, and buying from you. The quicker that you do that, or the more you do that, the better you do that, the quicker you will rank in profit, of course. Because we don't cash ranking at the bank. We cash profit. So searching for Bluetooth speaker, finding from you, and buying from you is the best conversion path you could ever hope if you want to be on page 1 for Bluetooth speaker. Now, the more people who do that, and the quicker they do that, so the higher the amount of orders and the shorter the period of time, the better you're going to do on Amazon. This is sales velocity through a specific conversion path. I got to come up with cooler names than that, right? I got to come up with some really fancy marketing terms. I haven't figured that part out yet, but I have figured out this. If we can get somebody to search, find, and buy from you, one person, that's not that much. But if we can get 20 or 30 or 40 people to do that in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days, all through the same path, you are going to do well on Amazon. Flat out. Period. End of story. And to me, I don't know what you're currently doing with Facebook ads. I don't know what you're currently doing with Shopify. I don't know what you're currently doing with affiliate marketing. But boy, this sounds a lot simpler than that. Because whatever traffic you're generating already to whatever you're doing online, if you had it go through this search, find, buy process, and you focus just a little bit of it in a short period of time, you're going to open Amazon wide up. It's going to be your little treasure chest as a result. Now here is the real big secret. This is the best part of all. By the way, can't you tell I'm having fun and enjoying doing this? This is so fascinating to me. This is so incredibly fascinating to me. If somebody said, Jason, you're going to figure out the #1 e-commerce platform in the world, and you're going to be one of the few people that have decoded it at this level and then be able to share that with people, I would have said, nuh-uh. Are you serious? And they say, yeah, and guess what happens when somebody really locks this in? I say, what? They say on July 12, 2016, they make 6 figures in a single day in sales. I say, nuh-uh. They say, yeah, seriously. This is the big secret. So we talked about sales velocity. We talked about conversion path specific sales velocity. Now here's the biggest secret of all and how this all ties together. Have you noticed how sales velocity has little or nothing to do with the price that you sell the product at? Let me repeat that. Have you noticed that sales velocity has little to nothing to do with the price that you sell your product at? Have you noticed that conversion path has little to nothing to do with the price that you sell your product at? Interesting, isn't it? If you were selling a Bluetooth speaker for $29.95 as your retail price on Amazon.com, let's run through 3 potential scenarios here. Scenario number 1, full price sale. So you produce 100 sales for your Bluetooth speaker for the search phrase when somebody goes to Amazon and searches Bluetooth speaker, finds your listing and buys from you. You do 100 of those in 4 days at a full retail price of $29.95. First of all, is that possible? You bet. That's not a tall order. That's pretty simple. Considering Amazon is the most trusted place and the easiest place in the whole wide world to buy stuff online, 100 sales in 4 days for a $30 Bluetooth speaker that you make a 50% profit margin on, very easily possible. And ideal if you can swing it, because you just got paid to rank your product on Amazon, which will then fuel your sales passively and consistently day in and day out. Like Chris here. who did $26,000 in his first 2 months. And he says this, I like it. He says, real sales, full price sales. And Chris has since went on to dwarf those numbers. Those numbers are now laughable compared to what he does these days. Chris is now in a co-branding deal with a major prime-time television show to co-brand his product, which they found on Amazon, of course, right? That's scenario number one. Let's look at scenario number two, a promotional discount. So your standard type of discount, something along these lines. 100 sales of your Bluetooth speaker through the specific, I searched for Bluetooth speaker, I found your listing, and I bought from you. 100 sales in 4 days. Now here's the cool thing. Before you send these 100 people off to go buy from you on Amazon, you said, here's a promo code. On checkout, enter it in, and you're going to get $10 off. So you ran them a deal. So they paid $19.95 with their promo code to get a discount. You pushed 100 units. Is that possible? Of course it is. Everyone loves a great discount. And because they trust Amazon so well, they know that that discount's going to work and they're going to get it. And as a result, you're still making a small amount of profit on your sale. You might be making $2, $3, $4, $5 a unit. That's okay because you're grabbing rank on Amazon, and this is going to help you with fueling your sales passively and consistently day in and day out at your normal price of $29.95. Why? Because only the people you gave the promo code to are getting it at a discount. Everybody else who's finding you organically on Amazon, they pay full price. And this is why a guy like Eric can work a full-time job, be trapped in his office for 10 hours a day, and still have this little part-time thing doing $25,000 a month on Amazon. Because once you get that exposure, that's when the passive sales kick in. I never actually believed in passive income until I started on Amazon. And then I saw it firsthand. I said, wow, that's not a unicorn. That's really a thing, right? That's scenario number two. Scenario number one, full price. Scenario number two, your traditional discount, 10% off, 20% off, 15% off, whatever, right? Scenario number three, deep discount. So in this particular case, you get 100 people to go to Amazon, search for Bluetooth speaker, find you, and buy from you. You do that in 4 days, and here's the nuttiest thing of all. In secret, you share with these people a coupon code that on checkout, if they apply it, they're going to get 99% off your $29 brand new, perfect condition Bluetooth speaker. And do you think you could get 100 people in 4 days to buy your product at 99% off? Is that possible? Easily. In fact, that's what a lot of people do when they're starting their Amazon business with us. We call this the path of least resistance. Anybody can do this. The only reason why you can't do this is because you're not trying. Because you consider like wealth and money making a hobby. And this ain't no hobby. This is livelihood kind of stuff. This is legacy type stuff. This is the stuff where you could start first generation wealth and turn it into second generation wealth and pass it on to the next, right? But whatever. Scenario number three. In this case, you might lose $5 every time a unit is moved on Amazon. So now you're paying money to move your product out of Amazon. I call that an advertising cost. You can justify it however you want. I don't care. This is buying your way to page one of Amazon. Because once you do that, whether you buy it or whether you get there through full price sales, regular discounts, or deep discounts, this is going to fuel passive sales consistently day in and day out at the normal retail price. So Helen, for example, now she says she's very kind to us. She says this group and training has been the best, most open and informing training I've ever been a part of. This is our launch, 30 days. So she gives away 100 units, and now she has 482 units, full price sales, 6,000 pounds, because she's actually selling on Amazon.co.uk. So this works anywhere. All of Amazon search engines are the same. Here's the good news. There is more than one way to win. You don't have to give products away. You can do full price sales, you could do regular discounts, or you could do deep discounts. It doesn't matter to me. I share with you this exciting story here. This is so great. So David, he joins up with us. Now David is part of this church group. So he has like 40 people in this youth church group go and find his product and buy it from him on Amazon, right? And it doesn't take that much. You can kind of see 7 days, 48 units, right? But what happens is once he gets that exposure on Amazon, Amazon takes over, and he does 6 figures in his first 5 months on Amazon. And the really cool thing here is Mario says no coupons, no freebies. Mario, with a full-time job as a university administrator, launches a product and in 5 weeks goes from 0 to 6 figures. Full price sales. Only thing I'm doing is Amazon ads and Facebook ads. So it doesn't really matter how you acquire that velocity. As long as it goes through the conversion path you want it to do, and you get that sales velocity that happened in a short period of time, that's how you launch, baby. That's how you win on Amazon. It is not more complicated than that. If it was, I would not have the staggering number of success stories, of which you've maybe seen 1% of today. Now, this has been my life for the last 3 years. I've had an obsession with mastering the process of selecting the right types of products that sell the best on Amazon and the easiest, sourcing them in the simplest way possible and the lowest cost way possible to get started, listing them to optimize for immediate search presence, immediate exposure on Amazon, as well as most appealing to the customers out of any listings that they're looking at, right? And then launching them. And by the way, launching them really is just the beginning, because then the question becomes, what do we do after we launch it? How to, if we want to, take it back into active income, not passive income. Because maybe you don't want to do 6 figures a year, maybe you want to do 6 figures a month. But that's on you. But we talk about that journey above and beyond the launch, and even above and beyond Amazon. What happens when you start on Amazon? Where can you go? And the answer is you can go anywhere. We've had people in retail stores like Walmart. We've had people on the television when, of course, you can go and you can sell them on Walmart.com, which, by the way, just bought Jet for like $3 billion, because Walmart is now competing with Amazon, which is great for us because we can sell our products anywhere online, not just on Amazon. We have no exclusive. This is my life for the last 3 years. I've been focusing on these 4 areas of mastery and then taking the position of what you do beyond that. Your fantastic advantage is this. When we focus on these areas, I make 0 assumptions that you have marketing or business experience at all, and this proves my case. This one is so exciting to me. This is Wilson's mom. She started with us on Amazon, and she lives on the other coast. So we're over here in California. She's over there in New York. And prior to this, she was not U.S. first generation born. She was born in Brazil, and she came over here later in life, right? 0 previous business experience. Before this, she was cleaning houses. She has a medical condition, which holds her back, and obviously was not something that she could continue to doing with her life. And Will says, Mom, you got to go through our training, and you got to take advantage of this opportunity. And she did. In less than 60 days, she was at $4,000. She got up to $25,000 a month last I knew, and the sky's the limit. Less than a year, really, in the business for her to take off like this. And I never knew her before this, but what Willow tells me, because like his mom, she looks 20 years younger than she did before this business started, because this is so exciting for her, because she's able to create something, put it into the world, and see it happen like this, where not only is she making money, but people are happily buying from her on Amazon, and now she's in control of her own fate and her own destiny, the ability to do that. She calls me like her son now when she sees me because she's heard my voice, she's listened to the training that I've done, and she considers me one of her own because being business partners with Will, helping her by opening up the door and providing her with the education in, you know, videos and PDFs and stuff like that to be able to make it go at this with success on Amazon. So this is kind of our focus on Amazon, is we make no assumptions that you know anything going in. Now, if you do, you can skip over the rudimentary stuff. But if you need that, it's there for you as well. But on top of that, we also do a lot with sponsored ads, which we don't have time to talk about today. We use email autoresponders inside of Amazon itself to do automated customer follow-up. There's a lot of money there. We focus on a lot of non-search traffic areas, like frequently bought together, customers who viewed, more items to consider, related to items you've browsed, inspired by your browsing history, inspired by your shopping trends, new to you, recommendations to you, and on and on and on and on. And the more you bring customers to Amazon, the more they will send you additional visitors to your listing, which we didn't really cover a lot today. And of course, you don't have to be exclusive on Amazon. There's other marketplaces, your own store, even go retail. You have an asset that anytime you wish to, you can sell. Like one of our partners here, Sean did, sold his FBA business for $2 million earlier this year. And Amazon loves you. Amazon, this is Jeff Bezos's drawing himself. And this is what he said many years ago to the company. He says, if we increase our selection of products, that gives us more customer experience. The better the customer experience, the more customers are going to want to come to Amazon. The more customers we attract to Amazon, the more sellers, that's you, that's me, that's us, that will come. The more sellers we have, the more selection occurs. So we help them. We are a vital part of their flywheel, of their virtuous feedback loop. Amazon loves us because we help Amazon achieve what they want. The customer loves us because we give them products that are more relevant and suited for them specifically, and we take care of our customers on Amazon in a way that nobody else does. Because when was the last time you bought something from Amazon and had somebody contact you and say, listen, I just want to be here and help you if you need anything at all. Here's my personal email address, right? And the answer is almost never. Now, you don't have to do that, by the way. It's not required, but it's really easy for us to hire somebody to do that, very easily outsource that or even take care of it initially at first itself and build $1 million business off a couple hours a day of mainly just emailing customers back and forth, right? The point is this: Amazon loves you, the customer loves you, and you love you once you start selling on Amazon. So the conclusion here is putting effort into making money online and not using Amazon is probably ignoring the single biggest, easiest source of sales and profit. Now, this upcoming Thursday, I'm going to conduct a full training on selecting, sourcing, listing, and launching your Amazon product. And if you suppose that I might have additional resources that automate this, make it easier, make it simpler, that you can get your hands on if you wish to invest with us, I definitely have that for you as well at the end of the training. But we're going to do a full training this Thursday at azontraining.com. If you want to sign up for that early and be on the priority list of people that are first able to get into this, to check this out, this is a free training that you can sign up to on no obligations at azontraining.com, where we are going to focus more deeply on selecting products, sourcing those products, and listing those products, as well as then tying that all together to launch them to make you successful. You owe it to yourself, I believe, to be on this training, and it will show you exactly how to do Amazon once and for all. And then if you want to join us, you can. And if you don't want to join us, you don't have to. Either way, you can walk away knowing how to do Amazon. And my hope is, of course, that you do join us, because I think we can get you there faster, easier, quicker, simpler, more profitable, less time, more profits, all that good jazz. So azontraining.com. That is my pitch for you today. I wanted to make sure we spent the time today to really put into context how powerful something like this could be for you. And we're going to go into full details on that on azontraining.com. Hey, Will, did you have anything that you wanted to add here as we wrap it up for our training today?
Hey, Jason. No, I've been answering questions in the chat box, but it just so happens, honestly, that as I answered the questions, you also answered them and covered the topics later. So I don't think at this point we have any outstanding questions in the box. Everybody was very, very positive on when you ask questions, you know, are people understanding this? Are people getting this? I think you explained it very well, because it was, I've never seen this, honestly, 100% agreement. Yes, 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 agree, got it, understood. So this is perfect. Very smart folks on the call, actually, is what it tells us, which is great. They're on our email list. They understand the value of being here and spending this time listening to this stuff. So awesome stuff. I think you covered it. I'm really looking forward to the Thursday training.
Excellent. So here's what I would recommend then in summary as we put this to bed. Write something down tonight as your goal of what you would like to accomplish and achieve in terms of profit by the end of the year. And I want you to write this down on a piece of paper and put it underneath your pillow. I know this sounds goofy, but stay with me here. I think this will be worthwhile for you. And then I want you to be able to have that number when you look at it and wake up in the morning and see it tomorrow. Okay? And then bring that number with you on the training on Thursday at azontraining.com. And when you do, in the chat box, could you kindly share that with me at the beginning of the training? And I will use those exact examples of those numbers, and I'll break those down specifically on how you can use Amazon to achieve that. Because I really do feel like it's my moral obligation to bring this to your attention of how powerful Amazon can be for you, because right now, if we get into Amazon, we are going to be able to take advantage of the best time ever to sell on Amazon, which is the day after Thanksgiving and the last day of Super Savings Shipping, which is typically December 22nd. That's like a whole month of selling on Amazon. So if you go through the training with us on Thursday, you're going to be in a position to take advantage of what will inevitably be the largest holiday season ever to hit Amazon. Ooh, I'm getting tingly here, Will, thinking about some of the people that are going to start with us and be able to take advantage of the holiday season here on Amazon.
Oh, absolutely. This timing is absolutely perfect because in all reality, you have, not that they need this long, but they will have 3+ months to get completely ready to take advantage of everything that's going to happen in November and December. I mean, it's a great, solid 45 days of just pure magic on Amazon. And it's so cool to be able to say, like you said, that this is going to be the largest holiday season ever because it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. So the value of this opportunity just keeps on compounding. It's incredible. It truly is.
So I had a couple questions come in here that we can hit upon real quickly. So Kenny says, how long is the Thursday training? Long enough to be thorough to cover all of our bases. I'm going to put it to you that way. It's going to be probably longer than this training. It all depends on my pace and the feedback from the audience and what I decide to go in deep on and whatnot. But whatever the time commitment is, it'll be worth your time to be there. John says, does placing your Amazon listings on a private blog network increase rank in Amazon? Not usually, John. And the reason is it could if the amount of real buyers that came from those blogs ended up spiking the sales velocity and doing the things that tickle the Amazon algorithm, right? Very often it's easier for us just to go more directly to Amazon. And I'm going to break down a little bit more on Thursday how we can manipulate conversion rate. So when you see a 40% conversion, I can make any one of you people have a 40% conversion here on this call in your first week of a launch. And that does a lot in conversion when you combine that with sales velocity to really do amazing things with it. It's, you know, the hardest thing, and I'm sure, Will, you can relate to this because you've seen a lot of people talk about this, is they like to overcomplicate it because every other business model that exists out there, and Will has been doing business online when I was being potty trained. That's how long this guy goes back, right? And everybody thinks this has to be complicated. So they think we have to do like these 56 different things and build these complicated, complex models and funnels and all that stuff. And the biggest thing that we have to work with on Amazon is say, no. It's not that hard. Getting you out of your own way is our biggest challenge, right, Will?
Oh my gosh, getting out of our way is absolutely, without a doubt, our biggest challenge. Just let the system work itself, right?
Yeah, that's the way I think your mom did so well, is because she didn't even know what a private blog network was. If we look very closely, I try not to make fun of her because she'll slap me if she hears this, but notice she didn't even do a screenshot of her first really nice win on Amazon. She took a picture with her phone of her computer, right? So Will's mom, God bless her, she doesn't even know the technical aspects of doing a screenshot, and I think having that ability to just focus on the simple stuff is to her benefit. But the answer is anything and everything you know online can help and benefit you, but even if you know nothing, that's okay, because utilizing this 4-step process is going to get you there. And there was another one. Steve had a question here. How do you keep sales velocity going if you don't change products regularly? It's a great question. So there is the push on conversion, and there's sticking the conversion. So remember earlier in the example, Steve, how I showed we had a product go up to 40% conversion, but then once our products get to page 1 of Amazon, they'll typically go to 10, 15, 20% conversion. And the answer for that is, as long as your product does well once it gets to page 1 with cold, regular traffic and people that are just searching and finding and buying your product that you have no relationship to or influence over, that's what's going to keep you there. If you can perform on pace with anybody else on page 1, you'll stay there. And I will tell you, well, I won't tell you this. I want you to think about this for a second. Question number 1, does Jason Fladlien know a thing or two about conversion? Yeah. And then question number 2, has Jason Fladlien looked at over 1,000 Amazon listings and did private consultations with over 1,000 Amazon sellers? And the answer to that is yes. So not only
you've done consultations with over 1,000, you've looked at probably 50,000 listings by now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking deep dive analysis and breaking things down with very often reports of the results after the analysis has occurred, right? Yeah, so not only am I fundamentally one of the best people you could have in your corner when it comes to conversion, but I am also very good at the specific idiosyncrasies and goofiness of Amazon purchases and their behaviors and their buying habits. And so once, getting you to page 1, that's the hardest part, even though it's relatively easy. Staying there is very simple with the techniques that we teach and what we have perfected. And we just released, in our private members area, my 2016 edition of the listing and copywriting optimization of Amazon listings, where we deep dive into title, images, reviews, product description, and the bullet points, which are the major key areas that contribute to your conversion. That's a great question, though. How many products should we have listed in year one, Russell? So we've had a lot of our people do very well with just one product. In fact, I would say this. Most of our people do so well with the initial product that they get lazy. They should be launching 2 or 3 or 4 products, but most of them end up with just 1 or 2. You know, Will's wife basically built $1 million Amazon business before she ever got around to selling a second product. It would drive us nuts. I was like, especially when you consider she's selling a product where it'd be like her having a shoe and not sell the sock, right? When they fit in so perfectly together. But whatever. I mean, that's the bane of the existence of me as a teacher, as a trader, as a friend, is most people do 1, maybe 2 products. I've seen people do everything, though, from a couple products to a lot of products. I personally like an approach where we spread it out over several products. I'm very much into the system. Select, source, list, launch, repeat. Select, source, list, launch, repeat. Select, source, list, launch, repeat. But most people usually only have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 products in year one, if even that. That's a good question. Okay, so Joel says, will you be going over where he gets these people that will buy your products to get the sales velocity on Thursday? Yes, I'll cover that, Joel. The short answer is, I mean, there is no short answer because there's so many different ways to do it. There are many, 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 many different ways to do it, but I'll cover that.
The short answer is a question. Where do you want to get it from?
Yeah, and I mean, the more of a discount you'll give, the easier you can get anybody to buy your product. The more you want to go full price, you'll need to know a little bit more. You have a little bit more strategy involved, but people have done it in all walks of life. Like, my joke is this. Like, Will and I are 2 completely different types of personality. I'll go down there, and, well, I'll go down there. That's what I mean to say is I'm a kind of guy that says, hey, what the hell, let's throw something at the wall and see what sticks, and we'll figure it out later, right? Will is like the diametric opposite of that. Will is the guy that when we form a business entity on a 109-page operating agreement, he'll read every single word and he'll correct the lawyer when it's all done. Like, there's a typo on page 73, paragraph 6, right? And the lawyer will be like, we've used that template for 15 years and nobody's noticed that, right? So Will and I, we approach things completely differently. We have people that are like Jason's in our group, and we have people that are like Will's in our group, right? All of them have been successful, which is what I love. Most business kind of models that you can go after out there, they only suit one type of personality. But as I say here, we can always, with Amazon, make the circumstance fit the opportunity, and that's definitely the case here. So to answer your question is, well, where's that question go? I missed the question now. To answer the question is, really anybody from any type of background can do this. So if you want to do this with the way Mario did it, full price sales, 5 weeks to 6 figures, that's possible. If you want to do it in the way like Will's mom did it, that's a different approach. But yeah, Will says it best, where he says, where do you want to get them? We'll show you how. Because any way or place worth getting them, we've been there, we've done that, we got the t-shirt, right? John says, do you have customers that do handmade Amazon? We do not have very many customers right now that do handmade, John, and that's an interesting question. So that's Amazon trying to be the monopoly of everything online. So, you know, they're not happy enough just selling private label. They also want to take on Etsy and do handmade Amazon. I have a few customers that are absolutely just crushing handmade right now. But to me, that's too complicated. We don't want to hand make anything. We want to have somebody who's mass producing something already, just put our label on it, and now we're in the private label business.
Yeah, it's too hard to scale, because we're about scaling, right? But all the same exact strategies and tactics and stuff would work in handmade, probably even better because it less competition there.
Yeah, handmade is basically.
However,
yeah, go ahead.
Scaling is really hard, right? Because again, could you handle 1,000 units a day on a handmade product? I don't know what it is that you make handmade, but I imagine you couldn't. But on a prime day, you can sell 1,000, 2,000. We had a customer sell 2,700 units of his product on one single day. Wouldn't you like to be able to take advantage of that by just implementing the tactics and strategies that we teach without having to sit there and actually make or have somebody make the item, because it's just made by some factory somewhere, whether in the US or China or India or Vietnam or Brazil or somewhere in Europe. It doesn't matter. You can source from any country on this planet pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, start off with the tried and true method of select, source, list, and launch, and then if you want to take some of the money that you make from that and play with it, you could go into Handmade or anything else. The cool thing is Amazon works as a search engine the same, regardless. You do Kindle, this works exactly the same on Kindle. The only reason we don't do Kindle on Amazon is because the margins are very slim. You don't make $15 when you sell a book on Kindle every time you sell that book. And this is a sad state, but only 3 people a year read a nonfiction book, first of all, in the United States. Or 3% of the population, sorry, 3 out of 100 people per year. And secondly, most people don't read. They just don't. They don't read fiction or nonfiction, but they all buy products. They all buy Bluetooth speakers. They all buy crazy, goofy stuff that you've never even heard of by the thousands a day. And that's why we like to play in that arena. So Lee asked, can you relaunch a year-old OK product? You can. What I've discovered is rebranding it and launching it again as a new product almost always makes it perform better. So that's kind of a little insight for you. We could get super duper advanced with some ultra cutting edge techniques with parent-child variations, but I'm not going to blow your mind with that tonight. The simple answer is, that's 7-figure Amazon stuff. So when you get to 7 figures, I'll peel back the curtain on how to do that. But for now, it's just easier to relaunch the product, rebrand it with a new listing so we can work with those analytics, that data, that tickling that I talked about earlier tonight. Which is something a lot of people don't realize, by the way. It's a very simple, easy shortcut to utilize Amazon. Lynn says, can you sell a webinar on Amazon? You could, but again, I don't want to sell information on Amazon because a majority of Amazon sales come from physical products. The majority of all total commerce, very little of it is information-based, and very little of it is entertainment-based unless we're now building these 100. I mean, Will used to work for a movie studio. He can tell you. You either got to do entertainment on that level or we just private label products, right? So the concept here is you could sell anything on Amazon, but physical products, by and large, dwarf every other thing that you could ever hope to sell on Amazon. And here's what I really like. At the end of the day, I'm a creator. I've created more information products than most people will ever create in their lifetime. And I'm really, I'm 33 or 34 years old, something like that, right? 33. I love to create. I love to compose. I love to write. I love to make info products. I'm really good at it. But I will tell you what, not only do more people buy physical products that are not information-based, but the second thing is the amount of effort it takes to create an information product, compare that to sending out an email and having a private label product. It is infinitely easier to start with your own product line with a physical product than it is to create from scratch an information product. Now, if you want to be the end-all, be-all, you could do both. And by the way, both work really well in tandem with each other. A physical product customer, you can then sell digital products to on the back end. Or if you already have a digital customer base, put a physical product line on the back end of that. And then you'll wonder why you never did that before, because you'll triple or quadruple your profits. That's the closed circle approach. But if you have to start anywhere, I tell everybody, start with a physical product business. You can always do a digital product business because it does satisfy creativity. But when you have a mortgage to pay and you have certain things you want to buy that you can't afford right now, the tried and true method, the most important thing that you can do to change that is to start selling private label physical products on Amazon, period, in this story. So hopefully I'll see every one of you on the azentraining.com. Write down your goal, put it underneath your pillow the next time you go to sleep, pull it out, bring that with you to the training on Thursday, put the number in. We'll see what we can do to help you get there, okay? azentraining.com. My name is Jason Fladlien. On behalf of Wilson Matos, we look forward to seeing you again very shortly.